What were some of the common criticisms with Wuthering Waves beta thus far? This is not meant to be a post in bad faith and me trying to scout out negativity for a game before it's even come out, but just a genuine question as to what legitimate criticisms you have observed or personally have had from the beta tests thus far. I've heard so much good about the game from social media, but mostly from PGR fans or Vanguard Sound fans. On the other hand, while lurking some streams, I'll occasionally hear thoughts on the game and whether or not a streamer will be checking it out, and I've heard a surprising amount of no's or disappointment that I haven't really been able to uncover the reason for why. So Wuthering Wave have a lot of disappointments. Damn. Look at this. They are really close. 29 million. Now whether or not this number is real or fake, nobody knows. Nobody knows, but you can see, right, the pre-order on the App Store, pre-order on Google Play Store. There's Epic Store as well, very cool. I wonder why they didn't put it on Steam. Are you guys playing it on Epic Store or are you guys downloading it on the PC client, right? But ideally, Noah's heart knows. Noah's heart knows, that's true. But yeah, for now, there's a chance that this could be, a lot of companies do fake the pre-registration numbers, and I wouldn't be surprised if Wuthering Waves does it, right? And this is not me trying to be negative, it's just something that most companies do. And it doesn't matter, right? As long as the game is fun, that's what matters. Ideally, this game, ideally you want to reach the 30 million so that everyone will be able to get the lustrous times 20. 20 free posts. Almost 10 million in like 1 week, that's sus. They did, to be fair, they also did like marketing and stuff, so I'm not sure. They did try to promote it in a lot of countries. I'm not sure if this, by the way, I'm also not sure that, is this 29 million just the global numbers? Or is this a combination with everything? Like CN, JP, everything add up together, right? If it's just global numbers, I find it very hard to believe. But if it's a combination of JP maybe and KR, I think I would believe it. Yeah, I would. It would be much more believable. But anyways, if you get 30 million, that's good. Everybody will be able to get the 20 free pulls. But the characters are also going to be pretty interesting, right? You get Ling Yang, you got Encore, Calcaro, Jensin, Verena. So hopefully these are all the characters that, players have access to. So I would like to just get a broader perspective on generally what criticisms that have been with the game. Subjective or not, yes, it will be free to check out myself in just a few weeks, but as with any gacha game, I think it's difficult to figure out whether or not the game, and in particular endgame, is for you or not, until you are a lot deeper in. Hoping beta testers got a better immediate grasp. Okay, so let's see what the people have to say about the criticisms. Criticisms. Okay, so this review is quite comprehensive. If you want my opinion, I think the overall 3 most common criticisms are... Okay, let's see. What are the common criticisms of Wuthering Waves? Number 1. The game's identity is kind of in a limbo. I've seen people claim the game is hardcore, but nothing about the general gameplay loop outside of the gear grind really suggests that. I've seen claims that the game is darker, post-apocalyptic, dark fantasy, and science fiction, sci-fi, but the story and setting doesn't seem to lean into any of those genres so far. Okay, the story and setting. So it all comes down to the story. I honestly think Wuthering Waves need to have good story. Right? If Wuthering Waves had good story like Nikke, the players are gonna stay. If Wuthering Waves story is like Tower of Fantasy, I think players might leave. The casual players, they're gonna read and then they'll be like, what is this story? Then they're just gonna stop logging in. Alright? Story is important. So it's all up to that. Whether or not some of you guys here like it, and I know most of you guys are story skippers, and it's fine to be a story skipper, but you guys know, most people love stories. Alright? How can they compare to Nikke? I don't know, man. They did rewrite the story though. They did rewrite the story. Okay, some people also feel that the game could do more to differentiate itself from Genshin when it comes to the user interface, monetization, etc. The game could do more to differentiate itself from Genshin. The problem is the banners are the same, right? It's like 50-50 and stuff. The user interface a little bit similar, yeah. The monetization, I'm not too sure. Maybe the package is like same price. But if this game has like more like gacha costume or whatever, that could be like the difference for everything. Others feel that the game could do more to make its world and exploration more interesting outside of janky improvements to mobility. Okay. So this one is basically about the game's identity, like what Wuthering Waves is trying to be. Okay, which I think is fair, and people don't see that yet for the time being. It needs to... I think when Genshin first came out, that's what people say about Genshin, right? Genshin is just another Breath of the Wild clone. But eventually Genshin found its own identity. And I think this is going to be something that you need time to be able to... yeah, you just need time to be able to establish, ideally. It's not something that will just be overnight. Wuthering Waves won Gen players, but Gen players will quit Gen to play Wuthering Waves? I doubt. Yeah, it feels like it's trying to capture the same market. We'll see, right? We'll see. Because they did that for Tower of Fantasy, and it sort of succeeded in the first couple of weeks, and then the bugs and stuff, and then people start leaving. The ecosystem's negatives for outweigh its positives. Okay, it's clear the developers tried to do their take on a similar system from Nioh 2, but for the sake of introducing gear grind, decided to stick stat RNG on them. Even if you factor in the proposed changes, the RNG involved when trying to get a full set is still worse than Genshin, Honkai Star Rail, and Zenless Zone Zero. Okay. This coupled with the fact that the most efficient way to grind echo sets is to only use stamina on echo upgrade materials or tuners and farm mobs in the overworld will probably be a source of frustration for the players who jump ship from Genshin because of its gear grind. So the echo system is negative. Therefore it's more grindy. Now, if it's more grindy, is this going to bother me? Probably not really, right? But I can see why it can bother some other people who are impatient. But this could also be a good thing for people who are impatient. That means that they are going to be willing to spend money to get past the grind. And therefore, Wuthering Wave is going to earn billions of dollars because these impatient players are going to spend money. So I think it's a good thing in the long run for the revenue. I mean in the short term for the revenue, right? It's going to boost their revenue short term. But long term, we'll see. Gear grind is something that I saw a lot of whales that play Honkai Star Rail and Genshin. Especially when Honkai Star Rail first came out, I noticed a lot of like whale streamers. They were so impatient, they go and like maximize their refresh every single day. It's insane. The amount of money they spend just to be able to farm relics is insane. So if Wuthering Wave can do that to players and like manipulate players into spending money to refresh for the grind, why not? Right? I'm all for it. I'm all for it. ZZZ gear grind is way worse. Is it way worse though? I think it's about the same. But yeah, this is one thing for sure for this particular stuff. There are streamers that make stamina every day. I'm sure there are streamers that do that, but I'm talking about like players as well. I'm pretty sure they are, right? The one reason is RNG on gear. RNG on gear. Number 3. The insufficient polish. The final beta left a lot to be desired when it comes to overall polish. The final beta, okay. Some players encountered bugs that prevented them from progressing some quests. Fortunately, hotfixes for most of the egregious bugs were rolled out quickly. But it still isn't a good look for the game if the final beta 2 months before release contained quite a bad amount of bugs. There's also issues with localization. Grammatical errors and awkward sentence structure plagued the final beta and still seems to be present in some recent promotional material. Take GN's marketing drip. Okay. The text reads, I have never regretted to brave the long night. This sentence structure is awkward because of the use of the turn of phrase, never regretted to. Something like I never regret choosing to brave the long night, or I've never regretted braving the long night sounds better to me. There's another guy in the comments that pointed out there seem to be localization issues on the other languages too. Okay, that's fair, yeah. There are claims that the last beta was an outdated build and that there's some miraculous, nearly every problem is fixed secret beta only given to some content creators, some of whom are known for leaking information and stirring up drama. But I personally don't really buy into that. If I remember correctly, Rexland himself, who is far closer to the actual devs, denied those claims. Of course it doesn't make sense. Why would some content creator get a secret beta while other people get a different beta? How is that beneficial to the developer? Why would they do two different type of beta? They should just give one final version. Who even believe this is... I wonder how their brain even works, man. What the heck? I'm curious about Wuthering Waves revenue. Wow, you're curious about the revenue. Are they expecting a 100% perfect game on the first day release? I guess they are. I guess they are somewhat expecting that. Maybe it's just me, but I feel like these particular sentiments have been echoed across many discussions online. Okay. It's always an outdated build. He has plagued all corners of gaming industry. He infects every type hype in developers' minds, game in beta tests, and paints them in bad light. Truly the most terrifying person in all gaming industry. Outdated build. The echo farming is shit. Layers of suffering. Get the echo drop. Cost 3 echoes, have lowest density, can be low like there are total 5 of them in the map. Respawn after daily reset. Get the correct set. Correct main stats. Correct substats. Unlock via stamina. Good enough substats values in CBT2. Max can be 3x, but it is changed. On echo set effect allows no off-piece. This one is a bit brutal. No off-piece. So you can't do it like in Honkai Star Rail and stuff. Nobody remembers how bad Genshin 1.0 was when they launched. I'm not sure if you can... compare that, bro. I think most people probably don't remember Genshin, to be fair, right? Because it's so far off. Maybe Honkai Star Rail? Honkai Star Rail at launch was quite perfect, I think. I don't think there was any special bug that I can remember. It was nearly perfect. But then, yeah, you shouldn't expect like every company to have that sort of quality. Totally can't see the substats without stamina, or you can only see a few of them. The unupgraded ones like in other games, because I'ma be honest, if you can't see substats at all without stamina, this is worse than Genshin, Honkai Star Rail, and Epic 7. Worse than Epic 7! Uh-oh. You can't see them unless using Turner. Sounds really bad. I hope the beta testers gave them a lot of feedback. What's bad about it? It drops like Genshin mats, so you have to hunt the map for them and wait for daily resets, and then they have a bunch of substats which you need to pay a mat that you farm with stamina to unlock substats on the top of EXP leveling. Substats can be the same as main stats, so more RNG. They have equipment slots, so cost, so you have to farm a bunch of versions. You can't choose sets to farm for low cost ones. RIP. But we'll see if that's going to be the final version. The resin was used on events in the beginning. Don't remember that. Holy, what the heck, essay? What is this? Why did he talk about... A little disappointed that they are going with the Genshin Impact Honkai Star Rail style of gearing. Nothing against those games specifically, just not a fan of that type of gear. I feel like there's a lot more interesting systems out there. Even PGR's gear was a lot simpler with no extra RNG frills, and it works pretty well. Maybe this is just what sells to the modern audience. This is what keeps players in for this type of gameplay. Believe it or not, not all gear system can fit all type of gameplay. Non-RNG system is only suitable for games where you don't expect the players to sink a lot of time, or it only has one mode that can keep players entertained. PGR Honkai Impact 3 is such a game. People don't go in there to play the entire day. They play for 1 or 2 modes, done, log off. Open world action combat games, however, players are expected to spend a lot of time. And if you don't have any game modes that could distract the players from boredom, then you have to rely on RNG. If players got their equipment too quickly, then they will play the endgame too quickly and finish everything. People would argue, no, proper endgame would have infinite replayability. That's true, but it often has to involve other human players. That's about the only way they can provide infinite variable to lead to infinite replayability, because people are RNG. This is why Apex Legends, Valorant, CS, Dota, League of Legends don't have to use RNG in their gearing system, yet still able to retain the player's interest. Okay. Wuthering Waves could make PvP the endgame. Not many will want to engage in it. Kuro games have to cater to those first. And the only way that they can keep them for long is by RNG. I guess to a certain aspect this could be true, right? I can see that. Yeah, I can see this perspective for sure. Kuro games likely realized something that the Genshin team realized, and Genshin learned this from those that came before. Another Eden doesn't have RNG grind for gear. In exchange, every other grind for currencies, points and materials are pretty large. But this is going to be an issue. Holy moly, what is this essay? This is going to be an issue for a lot of gacha games, ideally. They address the ecosystem problem and promise to improve it. They did say what they were going to do though. They did mention it in the patch, yeah. But I don't think it's enough or not. But it does depend. 69 upward, 69. Why no one making accent on gameplay considering how simple combat mechanics in Genshin, Tower Fantasy and other similar games are? What? We have a new look on DMC-ish combat system? Making accent on gameplay? Because gameplay is repetitive in gacha games. Or it gets repetitive. You can only do so much. Okay. As a Genshin player, you can get used to Wuthering Waves UI faster than Honkai Star Rail's user interface. Okay. Yeah, the user interface is going to be very similar for sure. They are trying to copy it one-to-one. I lost all hype when it was announced that it was released on May. I'll gladly be proven wrong, but my expectation is May 22nd onwards will be a shit show. Wait. I lost all hype when it was announced that it would be released on May. A shit show with content creator constantly trying to backtrack. It would be glorious. Content creators will quickly lose interest and attempt to sweep stuff under the rug. I don't understand. At least make it black. Holy, they copied the Genshin interface. Is this a disclaimer when you first play the game, right? The one that says that something about epilepsy warning or something, right? Huh. They copy exactly the same. Interesting. What essay are we looking at? Bunch of good stuff. Bunch of good Wuthering Wave stuff. Yeah, they need to have a black version. Black night mode version. If you are burnt out from Genshin and you want to try other games, but every turn you see something that reminds you to Genshin, what would you do? Japanese localization was bad since PGR. Japanese localization was bad since PGR. Wait, what? PGR is bad? You knew it is really bad when it even worse than Star Rail's Japanese localization? In 1.0, the simplest example is easy kanji like this becomes this in Wuthering Waves. It's very weird because I cannot use Google bot to type this kanji, but I have to open dictionary to copy and paste it. Only foreign games in Japanese POV that I rate them 10 out of 10 in Japanese translation are Nikke and Blue Archive, even though I don't play them. That's a bit discouraging to hear. Thanks for your input. Okay. Blue Archive had quite a shitty translation in Japanese some patches ago. I hope it's a one-time thing though. They were crunching and rushing out the door without taking a proper look. It was fixed pretty soon. The localization in CBT2 was terrible. They baked real-life Chinese mythology into the main story quest, and then don't explain the concepts and expect you to solve puzzles about it. Plants that you pick up on the ground had different names in your inventory. So you pick up from the ground, it's called something else, and then in your inventory it's called something else. Sometimes quests use on the ground name, and sometimes it used in the inventory names. Dialogue was awful. It was very wordy and a slog to read. Skill or weapon descriptions used the now typical CN flowery text. Lots more I'm forgetting now, but it was horrendous bad. Damn. Wuthering Waves hater. What do you guys think? Is the Wuthering Waves hate real? It seems like it is, eh? It seems like it is. A lot of people seem to I've seen some 2 Genshin complaints, but I think that's not really an issue. User interface is user interface, and if it works, it works. It's the other stuff I'm more concerned about. Character design. What's wrong with the character design? No character shown at any point wowed me or became a I want that character. Really? BGM. Maybe it's a hot take, but like the music are completely forgettable. The music. Okay, I'm gonna be real. Music is important. For sure, right? Music is important. I think most of you guys here who play Nikke and Blue Archive, you probably have heard any of the music in Nikke and Blue Archive before. You'll be like, okay, that's a good music. You can recognize that. It needs to be like iconic, right? Honkai Star Rail has pretty good music as well. Genshin's music can be pretty good as well, right? But Wuthering music, Wuthering, we'll see. Boss theme songs are really good. Nikke has fire music. Yeah, but if Wuthering music sucks, oof. Hopefully it's not, right? The game isn't out yet. But people already play the beta though, right? There's already 2 betas for Wuthering. I don't think they will change the music. I doubt they will change the music. Nikke's music is big. Yeah, Nikke's music is big. Cosmograph did a good job, man, in Nikke's music, right? There was one track that randomly played while walking through some area of the most deserty area of Scorched Lands that was amazing, but outside of it, nothing really stuck with me. Boss teams in particular were really disappointing. Nicholas Cage team, for instance, didn't sound like a boss team, and more like you left a title screen of Doom up while making a sandwich. Huh. Wow. Overhype. Overhype. Damn. It doesn't really feel substantial. Ecosystem is what has become commonplace RNG equipment grinding, but astronomically worse. Localization. There's bad and then there's information and abilities. It was too long. Parry sound. Story, I don't think it was good, kind of forgettable. The character design lacks identity, even to gacha standards. Both the loud fans and the haters are the worst part of the game. Vocal diehard fans of Kuro games who are already biased against Hoyoverse, trying to pin everything on their games and fans instead of being able to take even a modicum of criticism, versus genuinely deconstructive criticism from others that add nothing but fuel to the conversation. It's hilarious pigsty of bad faith and immaturity from Kuro game fanboys that I hope doesn't bloom from the many Genshin comparisons happening in this thread already. But yeah, this has nothing to do with the game itself, just hoping whatever criticisms they took from the beta have been adjusted to see how they can see fit and they put out a quality product that I can enjoy, regardless of what anyone says. Any Kuro game fanboys? Wow. I agree. Isn't he doing the same thing? What is he doing though? But anyways, yeah, a lot of people say the music is rather mid for a game that theming around the sound wave. The music is mid. Honestly, I wouldn't mind it too much. Majority of the Wuthering Wave soundtrack is composed by Kuro themselves. Okay, that's why it sounded so great. There's only 2 soundtracks composed by Vanguard in this game: Inferno Rider Theme and Flow. Okay, alright, we'll see more of that, I guess.